Hi everybody, I just wanted to do a quick disclaimer before you watch this episode of Needles on the Net. You may notice that there's going to be many references to Christmas and Christmas gifts, and what you're seeing really is a small business owner in action who had every intention of getting this podcast out before Christmas. But that didn't happen, unfortunately. But we still think it's pretty great, so we're putting it out anyway, and I hope you enjoy. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 8 of Needles on the Net.
Episode 8!
It's still December here at the store. Well, actually, it's November 30th while we're recording this.
It is.
But we're about to get real here at Needles in the Hay for the Christmas season.
It's about to get much realer. If you haven't started knitting your Christmas gifts, now is the time to start printing pictures of what people are going to get later.
That's so true.
Yeah, let us help you. Let us help you eliminate the stress.
Real talk.
Just, let it go now.
So do what I do. Knit everything that you want to knit. All the accessories and stuff. And then right before Christmas, just assign it to whoever you feel like giving it to.
That is a good method. That is a good method.
Make no promises.
No promises, no guarantees. Whatever shows up, shows up. I personally take the method of, just knitting for myself, and you know what? I'm never disappointed on Christmas morning anymore. It's great. I always open up my gift and I'm like, a beautifully handmade sweater! Woohoo! Every year.
Go me!
Yeah, I love it.
So we just want to inspire you with some of our new favorite things.
Yes.
Maybe this will help you get going, or maybe there's a little something here that you'd like to give somebody as a gift, or somebody to give you
or
as a gift.
Or possibly for a difficult knitter in your life. If you've clicked on this podcast by accident, hello, the rest of this conversation will be about knitting. Don't be confused.
So we got Einband by Ishtex a while ago, probably in September, I think it was.
Yeah.
But we just haven't had the chance to really...
It's been a slow burn, as Casey Musgraves would say.
To really discuss it, and we wanted to have like an actual project to show you because you really need to see how it blooms and knits up before it might convince you, unless you're already a real Lopi fanatic in the first place.
So as a real Lopi fanatic in the first place, I was already pre-sold on Einband. You might call me an aggressive pusher of Lopi. It's been identified before as a problem by some people. I like to think of it as a gift to the rest of the world. But I am really amazed by the incredible lightness that you always find in Lopi products. Like, they're always so light and airy and lofty, and you put them on and you're surprisingly like shocked by how suddenly warm you are, sometimes too warm, from putting on a Lopi garment. But this is incredible.
Yeah, so this lace weight is, like all Lopi products, it's a single ply. It looks like almost a little thread.
Like linen thread?
Yeah,
almost?
It almost doesn't even look like wool.
No, it's tough.
So I recruited my cousin Victoria to knit this shawl, which is from the latest Lopi book, Lopi 37.
Which is
and
frankly fantastic.
Yeah, it's got an awesome pattern collection. And the shawl is called, we're gonna murder this probably.
Sorry, Iceland.
Kabaldur?
I feel like I've offended enough of the people of Iceland over the years that I should stop trying.
We should really learn how to speak like a minimal amount of Icelandic so we don't constantly offend.
Next summer on the Net, we go to Iceland. Yeah. We'll figure it out.
So this crescent-shaped shawl is worked in a gradient with like all of these beautiful gray tones. And then you can pick a pop of color.
Yes.
To transition into the lace on the end. And we thought the black lace would be kind of a really cool look.
So as, like, we talked about a lot, we really like dark dramatic lace. It really shows it off. And, like, I happen to, I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, be very, very pale. So light colored lace looks ridiculous on me because sometimes no matter how well I've knit it, it just kind of looks like a skin disease. So dark colored lace is my friend, and I absolutely love how visible the stitches are in the black, especially this little drop stitch edging here has a really like vivid presence that I don't think you would get from a less substantial color. While I appreciate like if you did this in an icier tone or a paler tone, it would be ethereal and wonderful, and there's no argument against ethereal lace. We get it. But
I picked this lime green color too because I just thought it looked awesome, like against the grays and the black. The original one uses this like teal as the pop of color, and that would be a more subtle look.
Yeah, it would give it almost like a mallard tone as opposed to like the more vivid and parrot-like expression of joy from the green.
So when Victoria brought this shawl to me after it was done, it was all crunched up.
It was very wee.
It was very wee and crunched up, and after I soaked it and blocked it, I couldn't believe how much it opened up and smoothed out, and the wool really kind of fluffs up. And the other thing that was like completely hilarious, I thought about it, was that I soaked it for an entire movie, like 2 hours, and it was still dry. Like when I pulled it out, it was just like all the water just like fell out of it. It was really weird, but that's one of the beauties of
So for all of you who are out there being like, I hate blocking, boy, do we have the yarn for you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it needs a little bit of water to pin out, and then the beauty of that is it's very like wicking. Yeah, it's great. It's great for like winter and rainy weather.
Well, that's the other good thing, especially when you've got these guys, you can tuck them around. So if you've got softer, like really delicate cowls over sweaters and other stuff, throwing one of these around your shoulders is just like putting on a little raincoat. I think it's a great solution for, especially we talk to a lot of people who are very, very warm humans. I don't know if you can tell from what I'm wearing. I'm not. And I feel like this is a great garment for anyone who finds like the winter time that they're looking for just a transitional thing to get in and out of the snow and stuff like that. This guy is definitely your friend.
Absolutely. And then the one bonus about this too, because it is a sticky wool, it won't fall off your shoulders. You put it on there and it stays. It doesn't slink down.
That's the only negative I can say about knitting things in like 100% silk, because you put it on and then it's not on you anymore. You're
and
like,
it's gone.
I was wearing a shawl, I left the house, it's on the porch.
So that's our love letter to Einband. So we think you should give this new yarn that we have a shot. Yes. And now we're going to move on to Pom Pom. So
I recently don't know if anyone's discovered Nora Gone, but like it turns out she's fantastic.
It's not like we don't talk about her every flippin' episode. We love Nora Gone.
We love Nora Gone. She guest edited this amazing edition of Pom Pom, which if you haven't seen it yet, we cannot suggest highly enough. The photography in it was recently pointed out to me by Kate O'Sullivan that it has a really unique gaze to it in the fact that it's a very female gaze. So I just love how lush and wonderful and celebratory the photography feels while still being naturalistic and beautiful.
And I think like Pom Pom is great about that. Like the magazines are designed for women, and thus we get this like fierce, dreamy, elvish situation going on.
I never thought I would feel myself so strongly in a magazine cover.
So it's absolutely beautiful. It's like a work of art. All of the patterns in it are like really cutting edge.
I love them. They're all pushing like big boundaries. They're so interesting. The color work patterns are fantastic. I don't know.
So pop on Ravelry, check out the patterns in the latest issue of Pom Pom Quarterly. We think it's their best issue yet, and we have quite a few here at the store. I went nuts and got twice as many because I
fully recommend that you buy this in the physical copy, because you can also like check it in digitally and get your digital copy out of it. And I have to say, this is the only physical book I'm packing to take with me for the next 5 months. Yeah, it's not a joke.
That digital download code that they include is awesome.
Pom Pom leading the way. Bless you.
So the other kind of fun thing that we just got in the shop is a new set of things from JUL Designs.
So winter is here. We can fully agree it's come. There's no more escaping it. I missed the deadline. Tragedy for everyone. But the good news is that also means it's shawl season, right?
Absolutely. So we have a few options now. We have this beautiful filigree honeybee pin.
I love the honeybee pin. It is so adorable. When you guys see it up close, you're gonna die.
It's beautiful. And this is, the JUL Designs is great because it's like jewelry for your knitting. Like this is not, you know, your average shawl pin. Like this is a really good quality, fair trade.
But that's just it. So many like shawl pins and stuff are kind of designed to fade into the background, where this like adorns your garment as well, and it really shows off what's going on with it. It's not just there to hold your shawl together, it's there to add something to it.
Absolutely.
Which I really like. And I think that's why I'm so into these more delicate lacier ones, because a lot of shawl pins I've been finding lately are very heavy and thick and made out of natural materials, which is awesome in so many ways. But these delicate thin ones out of metal are great because it can take like one of those lacy light shawls that we were talking about earlier that might not necessarily stay on the best and give you a lot more security, especially if you're going to parties and other stuff coming up this season.
The other kind of cute lacy pin that we have, we've had these before too, is the Alhambra lace pin. It's got this kind of like Moroccan style window, and this is even lighter than the other two. So this is for your lightest lace shawls, and that helps to keep those slinky, silky things in place on your shoulders so they don't fall down.
But if you're looking to really buckle somebody down and keep them in place, I've been holding this jacket close with this beautiful penannular all podcast long. I really love these penannular brooches. I think they're great. You can use them on open-fronted cardigans and jackets, and if you're really adventurous, maybe a knitted kilt. You're thinking about it now. Send us the pictures, we want to know.
That'll have to be your next project, a knitted kilt. Knitted kilt. Just in time for Edinburgh Yarn Festival.
Just in time for mYak. To the people of Scotland, I apologize in advance.
And then the last thing that we have is JUL has a new leather closure, so it's called the Cordoba closure. Ooh. And we really love these because they're just a bit lighter than some of the other like closure temporary closures that they have. And it has this really cool like clasp on it too that just opens up. And we think this would be like a great bridge for like an open front cardigan.
Especially some of the designs from like the Borrowdale collection from the Fiber Co. recently has a lot of really great open front. Oh, that would be great on a Hovera on a windy day. Just keeping it clipped up right here.
And the beauty of it is that you don't have to have buttonholes. It just, you poke the pedestals right between your stitches and then screw them on in the back. Yeah, exactly. So it's a great gift, or it's a great idea for your own projects if you know, want to style them a little bit differently.
All those things that you want to keep closed but don't close.
Exactly.
I'm looking at you, Loxbow Cardigan.
So these are kind of the new fun things that we have in the shop right now, and we hope that you'll check them out.
Yeah. So, we've been working on these for a little while, or at least some of us have been working on them. No, I'm kidding.
It's been 2 episodes.
It's been 2 episodes since you've seen these, and we have been sprint knitting like 10,000 things. Does it not feel like we've knit 10,000 things in the last like 3 months?
It does, and I've been on an obsessive journey with my Haskell, which has been less than a week, and I'm already like a third done.
Plus, Deanna had wedding knitting to do in the middle of all this, which is easy to forget about. So you have one beautiful section of your fading point done, and I love it.
Yeah, we went with like two completely different color theories, I guess we'll call it here. So mine is more like a color wheel thing, where we're moving from orange to blue, which are opposites on the color wheel. And at first, when I put on the orange, I was like, oh, I don't know about this. And then I put on the yellow, and I was like, should I just abort? but I kept going.
You kept going. You believed in the power of
I believed in it, and I actually like really.
I'm
pleased with it. Like,
I think I don't want to use the term groovy, but yours turned out kind of groovy.
It's definitely like for those who are a bit more color forward.
Yes.
This is like a fun approach, and I really liked working with the mYak silk as well. So it's 50% Baby Yak, 50% silk, light fingering weight, so it's a little bit lighter than the original yarn La Bien-Aimée, which is a regular fingering, but this gives it a bit more of an airy.
It's a little bit
quality.
more drapey. So I went with this very tonal color shifting palette, starting from the blue and fading out through the pinks. And I have to say I was a little nervous as I shifted from the like cooler gray to the warmer gray in here, because it was so close together that I didn't know if I went too subtle. But as soon as the pinks came back in, I felt really, really good about it. And I love this like washed effect, but it is nerve-wracking to knit. And like there's a lot of excitement with this project. Like you're going along in each band. Did you see like a big change in your total project with every band you went through?
Yeah, well, that's exactly what happened, because I kind of started not being too happy with it, and then as soon as I got to it, took till about the green color when I was like, oh yeah, this is actually going the direction that I wanted to, and it goes fast though, because
so fast.
The color blocking with the chevron like makes it. It's one of those things that always seems like you're moving on to the next thing, so you get it done really quickly.
And it's so much garter stitch for such a beautiful effect. It's like the lowest amount of work I've put into something this beautiful in a really long time.
And the same thing with the like wagon wheel lace pattern. Super easy to remember.
Bangs off in 8 rows. Yeah,
easy to knit. You get through the chart in no time.
So good.
It doesn't look like much when you're knitting it, but I'm sure when it blocks out, it does this beautiful kind of circular effect. And the other thing that we did was we both kind of have one common color.
I love the fact that we got that blue in there together. Yeah, it just such a great tone.
It just shows like two different, completely different approaches to the same, kind of end in the same place.
Exactly. So there's a little thing about joining these when you get to the end of the first triangle. You might get to this point where you're like, I don't really know if I want to keep doing this. If you have addies, it gets really
That's my problem.
Yeah.
You may have noticed that Ethan's is twice as long as mine. When I got to the end of my first piece, I was like, maybe not. Maybe later.
Maybe not this week. I feel that. I definitely felt that way, and then I realized that, like, because of the way the addies work, instead of following the very well laid out instructions in the pattern, you could super cheat by just putting things onto stitch holders and sliding them around, like literally just twirling them around each other. It was hilarious. I did it in a car.
So that has inspired me, I think, to just
to get it
pull
done.
out my connector from my addies, just
click them onto hold and just plow through it.
Start the next one.
Yeah, because this part is bliss once you get there.
So we're gonna hurry through this, and we're gonna get this done.
Like a sweater on Christmas morning, Deanna's fading point still has the needles in it.
Whoopsie.
It's okay, she's wearing it anyway. We're into it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's been so busy. Like, things have been so great at the shop.
What?
You've
been doing things?
I know.
Again? And not knitting?
I don't sit around all day and knit. You know?
Unacceptable. I do.
It's not possible. Like, ever since I bought the store, I knit even less, I would say, than I did before. But anywho, it's mostly done.
It is mostly done. I really love the way that it's turned out. The fade through to the blue is, like, shockingly awesome, and
there we go.
I think has really reminded me yet again that like these solid color fades are so worthwhile. And I mean, we can still be those people. Speckles and semi-solids, as Deanna said, have been done to death.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So we decided that we were gonna play around with some solids.
Ooh, this one's ridiculous now. It's so long.
So you can make a beautiful fade with solid colors just as well, we believe.
I fully believe.
And we love this Hohi pattern. It's been fantastic. Working with the mYak Baby Yak silk.
It's a dream.
Has been a dream. I just love how, like, I was just telling Ethan that it's so slinky.
Yeah, it just rests on you, and the blocking process for this in the mYak is so easy because it has that little bit of extra weight in it, so it just spreads out nicely on the mats, and I used very few pins really to get this openness that I found.
Mm-hmm. Like I noticed that too when you're knitting with it. You know, the lace is already somewhat open. Like it doesn't take an aggressive blocking. You just want to get that wagon wheel just open, and it's already got the drape and feel that you want basically right out of the
I agree.
skein.
And as soon as it's blocked, it also just becomes totally cohesive, and it really reminds me in some ways of an almost woven fabric because the silk and the yak work so well together to create that perfectly soft and smooth texture, even in the garter stitch.
So we're carrying mYak products now.
I know, I'm so excited.
Including this beautiful Baby Yak silk fingering weight. Yeah. We're also bringing in the medium weight Baby Yak, which is a worsted weight. And it's all dyed over natural colors. There's no bleach. And it's an ethically produced yarn. All the fibers come from Tibet.
Yes, and it's sourced by the company individually, which is excellent.
And it's milled in Italy. Yeah, by our friend Paola, who we met at. Well, she doesn't mill it directly, but she's
pretty busy.
She's the brains behind this company, and she's doing wonderful things.
She is.
She's a great soul. She's really into social good.
Yes, don't forget to check out the mYak for Social Good campaign too. It's always awesome.
Absolutely. And we also wanted to talk a bit about how to build a fade and what options that we have here in the store. So in addition to the Baby Yak silk, we were also thinking that the Matosh Mo Light
Mo Light will be excellent. One of the things that I think about a lot when building a fade with any of our yarns is about we both did a similar thing where we picked two extremes of color and worked to a neutral tone and then went back out to an extreme of color. With the solids, and especially in this pattern with the way it meets in the middle, I think that's really like the best effect for like the most amount of wow to create that contrast color-wise.
Absolutely. That was our strategy. If you want to go just kind of a gradient strategy, that would work too.
Gradients totally work.
So the Madeleine Tosh would be like our, traditional, it's funny calling it traditional, semi-solid speckle option.
It's going to be bright and fun, lots of great colors.
The other option we talked about was the Metallico.
Okay, so I'm really into the Metallico. I have an unhealthy relationship with it right now. But like, it's so natural and so beautiful, but the colors that they've created are so striking. I just think that a fade with that from one of the like darker cinnamon or flint tones all the way out either to the pearl or the platinum would just be shockingly beautiful.
And the Metallico has a really high silk content as well. It's got the 50% silk, so it's going to give you that...
Brace yourself for drape.
Yeah, it's going to give you that same drapey slinkiness that the Baby Yak silk with. But whereas the Baby Yak silk is kind of light and gauzy, I think
floats. The Metallico will sit. It'll have that weight and that heaviness to it.
So if you're looking for something a bit heavier, I think, and something that's going to have a lot of sheen, I think
the sheen on that will be crazy.
That's the way to go. And then the mYak, if you want something kind of light and airy, I think that the mYak is the way to go for that.
And Madeleine Tosh, if that's just what you're looking for, a nice straight up classic fade.
Oh, hello knitting folks. Welcome back to Needles on the Net. I'm Ethan Barclay-Enu, and this is my new weekly segment for the store. We're going to be covering different things in my smaller weekly segment where we focus on projects, tutorials, and various types of things that are all interrelated. We're also going to talk about upcoming fun events like knit-alongs and other things focused on needles in the hay. Right now I'm on location in New Zealand, specifically in Christchurch, Maryvale for those of you who are familiar with this little town, and we're going to be focusing on a bunch of fun stuff while I'm here. I brought all the projects with me, so we're all set to go and have a little adventure together for the next 4 or 5 months. We're going to do some shooting on location around town and here in the house, and hopefully over the next little while we're going to learn some fun new things together. So I hope you'll join me over the next few months and work on some different projects. I'm going to be putting them up on Instagram and on the store's Instagram so you can follow along. And don't forget, I'll be participating in all of the Needles in the Hay knit-alongs from way over here. So make sure to check back frequently to see updates on our latest projects. without any more ado, we're going to go ahead and talk about our first knit along project, which is going to be a little quickie, a nice little sock, and a fun new cable cast on type. This year, I discovered the joy of sock knitting, not just as enjoyable projects, but also as a great way to reduce your carbon footprint. Hand knit socks last a really long time, and if you're a knitter who's always on the go, like I tend to be, literally traveling to New Zealand, and then all over New Zealand, please see my Instagram story for some hilarious shots on a train, then you will love sock knitting. It's a great way to give a small gift to people in your life who you really care about, and it's a super useful item. Plus, as we're about to show you, socks can be incredibly beautiful and rewarding. I want to start off our sock knitting journey by talking about a top-down sock, specifically the Elaborate Wonder Hazelfern. Hazelfern is designed by Jared Flood, and it's part of the BT Holiday Collection. It's a great piece that has beautifully detailed work in it, such as this lace front panel, a wonderful gusseted heel, and an excellent cast on that provides lots of stretch. Now, what's so special about this cast on? You might remember from other projects that Deanna and I have worked on, the ribbed cabled cast on. It's a cast on that functions to create a smooth but stretchy edge with lots of elastic power in it. The great part about it is that it returns back to its shape every single time after you use it. And it's durable over time, meaning that it's not going to start to spill out and flare despite multiple uses. And never worry if you're having a little bit of stretching in that ribbing, because a hot water block right on top of it, while you rewash the sock in cold water, can solve that problem. We're going to break Hazelfern down into 3 main components and have a small tutorial about each one. Today we're going to focus on the cast on in the beginning of the sock. So, I've started my second sock already, and we're well past the ribbing, but you can see a little bit more dynamically with the smaller portion how much stretch you really get out of that in that beautiful return back to the smooth shape. We're going to work on the gusset after this, but that's after I knit up the leg. So, Hazelfern is knit up in Puri. I'm using the color Love It, and it comes in 2 different sizes, a short sock and a long sock. It takes 2 skeins of Puri in the same color to make these socks, and I have to say the knitting is really rewarding. If you're new to sock knitting, starting top down can be really enjoyable, but sometimes it can feel like your cast on might be too tight or a little strange. Hazelfern is a great place to start, especially if you're used to doing lace and cable already, because you'll see the progress quickly as you knit, and it helps to ward off the dreaded second sock syndrome. Plus, I really love the look of 1x1 half-twisted rib, which is used here across the top. That nice tight twist on it makes a very durable stretch, and again, plays beautifully with our cast on type. So, I hope that you're going to cast on your Hazelfern sock. Please come visit me on Instagram at EBEForever and at Needles in the Hay, and let us know what you might be using. Puri is a wonderful yarn, 100% merino, 4-ply, entirely grown in the US, and it comes in a beautiful palette of colors, all of which are available on the Needles in the Hay website. So, grab 2 colors and 2 skeins, and let's get started.